Welcome out to the range. Today we're going to continue our series on how to clean certain firearms, and today's weapon of choice is going to be the AR platform rifle. And we're using an MTM case guard tactical range box. The joke of the day is, newsflash, man in boxers pursued by police, apprehended after a brief chase. Ba-dump-a-dump. We're going to start off with field stripping the firearm. And this goes for most AR platforms that are operated this way. Obviously, piston-driven AR platforms do not operate this way. So first thing we're going to do, firearm's unloaded. Obviously, there's no magazine in it. Going to pull this out, take our bolt carrier group out, take our charging handle out. I'm going to lay these in front just so you guys may be able to see them. We're going to take our bolt carrier group apart, and one thing you got to start with on that is the firing pin retaining pin. Don't lose this. Can you imagine a bunch of Marines in boot camp taking these apart, which they have, which I have done. Firing pin, twist its tail. Not sure the name of this bolt. The actual bolt and extractor, etc., ejector, extractor, and what holds the bolt carrier group. So this is called a bolt carrier group, all those parts. Pretty sure this is not black from use, but it is filthy. Look at my hands just pulling it apart. So there's that part. Now, the rest of it is kind of like any other rifle out there. Except for in this case, and in other videos, we've talked about if it's possible to go from the rear forward, which is what we're going to do. And we have our M16, or that's what these used to be called, M16 cleaning kit. So one very similar. And this is a piece, it comes in different sections, so it goes into that fancy kit. Our 5.56/223 brush, our scrub brush or toothbrush, a dental pick, which does not come in the kit, becomes very, very handy when you're trying to get carbon off, and our what the military calls a bore brush, which is, or a chamber brush, not a bore brush. This one's the bore brush, this is the chamber brush. We're going to start with the bore brush. It's already got stuff on it because one of a bottle like this spilled all over the top where all this was stored, which is why this looks wet, because it is. Then we would go through where the bolt goes, down in here. I'm going to lift it up just a little bit. Ta-da! Then you're going to pull it back. And this again is where it's very important to have a handle that turns, because keep in mind, rifling, going through tight rifling, it's going to twist a little bit. This is a brand new bore brush, was why it's so hard to go through there. Could be because I may never ever clean this rifle. Okay. Pull it back. Now we're not going to bore you to death, but you're going to do this till you're pretty confident that you have all the main gluck broken free in there. All right. Then we're going to shorten it a little bit. We're going to get our chamber brush, brand new, never used. Woohoo! Hold on, get the right tip. There we go. Shorten it some more. Just make it a little shorter. And we're going to put this in here, and we're going to spin it around best we can. and pull it out, which brushes aren't made to go backwards, obviously, but that's what you need to do. And you're going to clean the chamber where the bolt face goes into lockup and all that. Okay? So that's what we're doing here. There, that's good enough for government work. Man, it's black. Got glucky. All right. Put another section back into it. Now usually 223, of course, obviously the smaller the bore, the smaller your patch has to be. Put these back together. And where most of the work in cleaning an AR platform comes is getting the bolt, which is where almost all your gases get dumped into, this bolt carrier group in your bolt, cleaned up. Because if it's not, it won't get there. So let's see if we can get a patch through the barrel right after we take a little break. We are not going to get this rifle Marine Corps boot camp clean today. I can guarantee it to you. We're going to show the process. It's been a long time since this has been cleaned. It's going to take a lot longer and you want to sit there and watch every patch go through the barrel. But having said that, now we have a patch on the patch tip. We're going to put it from the back through the front. There we go. And if you do this the proper way, which takes a little stretching for me today, you're going to pull it apart. And yes, I could stand up, move around, but it's a little easier to show all this at the same level I am. So you're going to pull it apart, pull it back out, put a new patch through, and you're going to repeat that process until basically your patches come out clean, not covered in black stuff. We'll do one more just so you get the idea. After you do that, okay, that one's already better, but we won't keep going. So after you do that, you want to run a clean patch through there just to confirm that it's clean and to clean out some of the powder solvent, because in this case it's powder solvent, I believe, spilled in the box. I don't have the bottle. This is something I just picked up that's breakthrough, but it's an all-in-one, which also stands for CLP, which is Cleaner Lubricant Protectant. We talked about that in a different video. It's something the military came up with years and years ago as a one-time good deal for everything, which makes sense when you're in the military. You carry one bottle around, not 3 bottles around. See, it's still black. And you do that till either you need to clean it more with a brush, etc., or it's not black anymore. Just for fun and games, we'll run one more through it. And like I mentioned before, the work really comes into making sure that the bolt and the entirety of the parts, so the bolt carrier group, is clean. And then I will, when we talk about that, see, it's already getting a little easier. Pull that back through, get double the patch. All right. All right, now we've run patches through the barrel, we're going to move on to our trigger group area, which is also the magazine release area and the bolt stop area. And we're going to take our CLP or powder solvent, whatever you're using, whatever you decide you want to use, and we're going to get all the black out of it. We're going to use our fancy M16 toothbrush, or at least it comes in the cleaning kit. It's the first place I ever saw them, and that was 42 years ago. And we're going to get down in there, and you're going to keep that up till you are satisfied that that part is clean. Then we're going to move up here where the charging handle rides and clean in there. Now, the part I can't show you is that the gas tube comes back into the top right here. And the gas tube, it is a booger to get down in there. So I'm going to have to take this off here, pull that off here, turn it upside down, kind of behind the box where you can't see. You're going to have to trust me. The wood stick medical these things, Q-tips, work better because they get down in these very tight spaces. And you can see, even without anything on it, that's how they come out. And I'm just keeping my garbage back here just so it is. Clean this up here. Sorry for looking a little disorganized. You're going to get some, in this case it's Hoppy's powder solvent. We're just going to soak some Q-tips up. Put it away so it doesn't spill all over the table and our towel. And go back to work. We're going to clean this. See? And I could probably spend a few hours at this point cleaning this and getting all the blackness out of here. Because I've shot, maybe 1,000 rounds without cleaning it. Shame on me. And we would continue to do this until it was mostly clean or all clean. And you had all the carbon and all the black off all the pieces. So I'm just going to give you the gist of the idea. Remember that. We're not going to bore you with how, going to the extremes. Now, same thing would apply here in the trigger group. You would get down in here, take a patch, get in your mag well, and clean everything just like you would a semi-auto handgun, the mag well, the receiver, all these things. Now for simplicity purposes, I'm going to put it back over here on our very nice holder, and it even locks in there. This part doesn't, but the magazine locks on there so it doesn't fall off. Okay. Now, we'll start with the simplest one, which is your firing pin retaining pin. And you're going to scrub it, and of course it's black, but you're going to scrub it until your patch quits getting black, or you need a new patch. And when I say scrub, I mean scrub. And every once in a while you may need even a dental pick to get the carbon off of certain areas. Hidden behind the box here is a very nice tool to get off the face down in here of the bolt to scrape the carbon off of it, and then some very nice absorbing type tools to do the same thing. Because they do carbon up, it gets baked and cooked on there, and then your weapon will malfunction. The other really nice part, or easy to clean, especially because most of the time they're stainless steel, is the firing pin. And you just wipe it down if you're lucky. Now, in this case, looks like I might get lucky. There's a little bit of tough carbon right here, and then the same would apply on the other face of it. And then I'd want to scrubby, 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 scrubby. And I wouldn't stop, given the importance of your firing pin being able to move and set your firearm off, hence firing pin, until there was no black on this. In fact, I would take, in this case, my fancy tool, aka dental pick, gently scrape it because you don't want to scratch it and damage it until, excuse me, hopefully you can see it right here, till all that black and carbon was off. That's very important. I'll finish this off camera, but at least I have it in functioning order again. So there's two parts. The charging handle, just wipe down, get all the black off of it. And we're going to oil all this and when we're done and putting it back together, we're going to lightly oil it. Now, another challenging part is the actual, this part, I guess, the bolt. And why you'd want better Q-tips to fit in that hole, because you really do want to get in there and get that carbon out of there, which is where the firing pin goes through. I'm going to take and get all the glucky carbon, and right here, see if I can get it off. No, right here around this area, it bakes on. really bad. And I mean, it bakes on. And this is where you do want to have a nice scraper. See if I can scrape enough that we can actually get close enough with the camera that you can see the difference and tell that it's actually scraped on there. See if I can clean it off so it's not as shiny. You can see right here, I don't know if right here you can see there's a line, but you want to get all that carbon off there, which will take me a while. And then of course, more patches, more cleaning until it's all clean. Same thing on the bolt face here. Then we have the actual carrier part. And it is just as black down in here with just as much carbon, which is where you're going to use your Q-tips again. You're going to use this scraper. It's supposed to be a scraper for there. Okay. You use these parts to get down in there. You're going to clean it up. Apparently I don't know how to use my equipment. Sorry about that. Thought I'd done that before, but we're not going to figure it out right now today. Scrub it down. Take your Q-tips. Get in here. Pipe cleaners. That's the part you need. Pipe cleaners to get in the gas key here. And to get through where the firing pin, retaining pin, through here. And other places. Get out my fancy spray bottle of CLP here. Doesn't do any good when I hide it behind the box, does it? There we go. All right, and we would get all this cleaned up and wiped down. Running into some battery issues today, and we don't want to make this too boring. Okay. Big key to this is don't forget how to put it back together. I'm missing a part up here. Where did my little bolt there? Nope, it's there. There we go. All right, so you're gonna put the bolt back in. And you're gonna put this fancy piece back in. Then you're gonna spin it sideways so the firing pin will actually go through it. You're gonna hopefully put this around here so it doesn't bounce out. So put your hand around here, gives it a funnel. Goes through, puts this, put the firing pin, retaining pin back in there. There we go. If you did it right, you flick it, the bolt face comes out. It's not clean enough yet. Haha. Anyway, let's try it again. Nope. If you do it right, you do that. Okay? And it goes back and forth just like that. There we go. Okay. Then you would take, hold on, put this part back in first. Sorry. Put your charging handle in first. Put the bolt carrier group in. Push them in until they click. Rotate it back up. Put your pin back in. And now you should be good to go. Safety works. Hammer falls. Hammer falls again. And away you go. I know it was brief. Make sure your sights work at the same time. Yep, my sights work. I know this was a little brief today, a little kajumbled. Let me get it all cleaned up. We'll wrap up today. to sum up today's video, you have to have the right equipment, cleaning supplies to clean your firearm. When it comes to AR platforms, you want to make sure that you keep the bolt carrier group and the receiver clean and lubed, because ARs like running wet and well lubed. Okay? With that, you also need the right equipment to maintain your slings. Maybe that's a sewing kit. Make sure they operate. Maintain your optics, maintain your iron sights. This one has a pop-up iron sight. I've got a sight adjustment tool in my kit also. Maintenance of it is overall. That's super important to maintain the entire system, so that when you go out and practice and train, know your equipment, that your equipment and you are in the best conditions and best prepared for the worst case situations.